Welcome to CoreyNewton.com. I'm Corey Newton. This is home of Newton Economics. We're talking unemployment rate in the town of Wawarsing, village of Ellenville. Before we get started, I'd like to orient you to the page. Below me on the left are links to claims by current and former town of Wawarsing supervisors related to the 17% and climbing and 18% rate of unemployment in the town of Wawarsing. On my right is evidence and data that I've compiled from federal and state sources that says something different. If you're going to click the links, I recommend for your convenience and your utility to right-click them and open them in a new tab. That way you have a bunch of new tabs up top. You don't have to look at me making funny faces. You can let the video play in the background. You come back to this main page, right-click links, open a new tabs. That way you can dive right into material. The first document on the evidence and data side is a PDF file. It's Town of Wawarsing selected and economic characteristics. I got this from the Census Fact Finder site. So you can look through that. You can see all the information. You can see the 11.6 projected unemployment rate from 2008 to 2012. Below that is a village of Ellenville selected economic characteristics. Below that is a fact finder site, which I extracted this data from. So to use that, right click that link, open in a new tab. The page is going to come up. There's going to be a little orange icon around Maine. Go to the next one over, which is community facts. Click that one. You type in town of Wawarsing. It'll come up, town of Wawarsing, Ulster County, New York. Once you click that, before you click that, go down 3 links. It'll be your third link. It'll be income, employment, and occupation. That's the one you want to click. That's the report that you want to see, the ones I've provided in the first and second documents. Below that is a really cool website. It's called Federal Reserve Economic Data. They run that out of St. Louis. That'll give you data for Ulster County, the Kingston Metropolitan Statistical Area on a monthly basis. So I have a good chart for you there on Fred from St. Louis. Below that is New York State Department of Labor monthly reports. That one should pop up for November 2013. That'll give you unemployment rate that they calculated for November. Beneath that is Bureau of Labor statistics from the Department of Labor. You can click on that one. That's going to give you monthly data for Ulster County, the Kingston Metropolitan Statistical Area. That's updated up to November 2013. And below that is Bureau of Labor statistics. Again, this is a different part of their site where you'll probably have to put in New York, put it in by county. A similar version of what pops up from New York Department of Labor will come up, color-coded county-wide thing. If you scroll down on the bottom link, it'll give you alphabetically the counties and the rate of unemployment associated with each of those counties. Excuse me. So I want everyone to know this is not political at all. This is straight up basic economics. If you are gonna have an unemployment crisis and you're gonna have things to do, you're gonna set a strategic plan to fight unemployment, you need to know what the rate is and the different types of unemployment that compose that rate. So as I said in my letter to the Journal, there are 4 types of unemployment. Frictional unemployment occurs when someone is in between jobs. They're searching for a better job. They quit. They need to find another job. It occurs when you get out of high school, when you get out of college, when you get out of the military. You're looking for a job. So that's when you're frictionally unemployed. You don't have a job, but you're actively looking for one because you just got out of high school, college, and military, or you just left another job and you're looking for a better one. So that's frictional unemployment. Seasonal unemployment we're all familiar with, especially in the middle of January. It's cold, it's wet, the conditions don't permit certain types of labor and certain types of productivity in this types of weather. It also occurs when the seasonal, let's say you're a landscaper or a gardener. Okay, if you're not splitting wood and selling firewood and plowing driveways at this time, and you just focus on landscape, you're probably unemployed. So that's seasonal unemployment. That's going to pick up again. Structural unemployment is worse than frictional or seasonal because the people who are unemployed do not have the skills for the jobs that are available. So they apply to jobs and they don't get them because they don't have the proper skill set, they don't have the proper experience, and that's a much more serious level of unemployment. And if The unemployment rate for the town of Wawarsing is 18%. Not only do we have the natural rate of unemployment, which is composed of frictional and seasonal unemployment, we also have an element of structural unemployment, where the people looking for jobs don't have the skills and experience for the jobs that are available. The worst kind of unemployment is cyclical unemployment. Cyclical unemployment occurs when there are not enough jobs available for the people who want them. Okay, so if the unemployment rate in Wawarsing is 18%, we're looking at the highest levels of seasonal, frictional, structural, and cyclical unemployment that there are. So before I prescribe a remedy for that, I just want to get a handle on the rate. So we're doing this. That's why we're doing this research. I'm still in the process of compiling data. I want to start this research at the end of January, beginning of February. That's why I'm asking for anyone with empirical data and evidence to support an 18% unemployment rate. I want to look at it because it's very important. It needs to go in with this other evidence and data I have on the right side of the page. We really need to look at it and analyze it and research the methodology of it. And we really need to look at it. In my letter to the journal, I broke down the statistics out of 5,429 participating members of the civilian labor force in the town of Wawarsing, which includes the village of Ellenville. 628 are not employed. They're members of the labor force. They're unemployed, but they're actively looking for employment. That amounts to 11.6. They have a 3% plus or minus margin of error. Like I said in the article, the letter, that'll get you up to 14.6. If the 18% unemployment rate is accurate, out of 5,429 people participating in the civilian labor force in the town of Wawarsing, 977 need to be unemployed to have an 18% rate. So we need to dive into that. This is leading towards an actual statistical survey. That's what I feel this research. I feel I'm going to go through all this research and the other research I compile, and we're going to find out it's inconclusive. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to construct the same thing the Bureau of Labor Statistics constructs on a monthly basis in larger metropolitan statistical areas, and we're just going to do it here in Wawarsing. So what they do two things. They have a household survey and they have a payroll survey. So they call the household, they ask if anyone, if you're working. If you are working, you count in the labor force. And then if you're not working, they ask, are you actively looking for work? And if you say yes, that means you're unemployed. So we're going to have to do that again and again and again in the town of Wawarsing to get an accurate statistical sample so we can have a rate. That's where we're going to have. That's where I feel this is leading. What I'm going to do is I'm going to coordinate with the experts in my network. We're going to get PhD economists, PhD statisticians to oversee the methodology, the accuracy, and the objectivity of this survey. Because as I said before, this is totally not political. This has nothing to do with politics. If it had to do with politics, I wouldn't even be talking about this. This is strictly economic research and analysis. So if you're interested in participating, if you're interested in giving your opinion, if you're interested in funding such research, go ahead and get in touch with us on the contact page. I am probably going to have to go to town board meeting and specifically ask for the data, and that'll be fine. I can go ahead and do that. And we need to know, because a lot of people are going to say, well, the silver bullet is a Nevele project. First of all, we don't know if the Nevele is even going to happen. And I'm already skeptical about the Nevele because they've already signed project labor agreements. Now, if you know anything about project labor agreement, and you know anything about a labor union, first of all, labor unions are exclusive by their nature. If you're not in the labor union, you don't get the work. Or you have to join the labor union to get the work. So they've signed project labor agreements with the Construction and Buildings Trade Council. They've signed project labor agreements with the service and hotel people. They also have a consulting firm working to coordinate with SUNY to find out an educational plan for training. So we're talking about 3 layers of exclusiveness before we're talking about 1,500 or 1,600 jobs. How many people are already excluded from? Is that if it is 18% unemployment, are 977 people going to get jobs there? How many of them are going to be excluded due to the union conditions and the education conditions they're going to put on it. But that's a whole other subject. I don't want to get too far off track. Again, we're looking to find an accurate rate of unemployment in town/village of Wawarsing, because 2014 is a new year. A lot of economic things are happening this year, and we need to have an accurate rate. The fact finder from the census gives an estimate based on dated data. So I'm skeptical of that. I'm just as skeptical of that as I am of the 18% rate. So I'm completely objective in this. I want feedback. I want data if you have it. And please, if you can, share this with everybody you know. Share it on Facebook, share it by email, share it by word of mouth. Get everybody CoreyNewton.com. Let's go ahead and nail down an unemployment rate for Wawarsing so that way we can move forward. We can move forward methodically and economically sound reasoning. We need to move forward. We can't have all this political rhetoric. We can't have all these political promises. Because look what it's gotten us to here. Where has it gotten us? Is it at 18% unemployment? Or is it 11.6? Or is it 6.8? Is it 7.5? Nobody knows. So that's why we're doing this research. Please, once again, share this on Facebook, share this on Twitter, share it by email, share it by word of mouth. I will have updates coming soon. Once I begin the project, I'm going to put an update. I'm continuously update this page. So bookmark it, share it, link it, come back to it. Once again, I'm Corey Newton. Welcome to CoreyNewton.com and Newton Economics. Enjoy the rest of your week.